Submitted for your approval. A fan-based show who encompasses the multi-twined multiverse of superheroes, villains, sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and action comedy. All whose genesis stems from the printed page of the comic book. At the logo streaming towards your head, you've just entered into Comics, Cons, and Beyond.
Welcome back, comic book fans and the like. Welcome back to Comics, Cons, and Beyond, here in the heart of yesteryear comics in Kearny Mesa, San Diego. With me, as always, is
Bob? Oh, Jeremy.
He forgot his name for a moment. And
Adam.
And I am, of course, am
Lawrence.
Lawrence. So there you go. There you have it. We are glad to have you back, and we are going to continue the topic, or at least elaborate more on the topic about the DC versus Marvel Cinematic Universe. Who wants to start off this jaunt today?
I'd like to state a couple hopes I have, but
Ooh, okay.
yeah, honestly, I would hope that I hope that DC steals the win because I feel Marvel's dropping the ball in most of their projects. I'm sorry, aside from the Netflix universe, I don't have much faith in the Marvel universe right now.
I can believe that, and I can agree with that because the only things that have been working were Deadpool,
Yes.
the latest Avengers, and Netflix series. I mean, I haven't checked out Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as much, but it hasn't gone as much steam as, let's say, Flash or Arrow or Supergirl. So, see.
And with Marvel teaming up with Netflix and the streaming of those series again, Daredevil,
Defenders.
Luke Cage, and we
Iron
also
Fist.
have Iron Fist and Jessica Jones. They are really capturing the market share and very, very well done, I would say, as far as presentation value.
I'd like to think I'm pretty critical of them both for the most part. I mean, as you guys know, and most of you out there have been watching, as far as my critiques go about it, DC is in over their heads, it seems like.
Mhm.
We can all kind of
Oh,
agree,
yeah.
at least
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
We've seen people drop, we've seen actors drop, we've seen
Directors.
composers drop, everything. So, I mean,
unfortunate.
we all kind of want to see them succeed, all of us out there as fanboys and all that. And you're right, I mean, Marvel, I'm kind of getting tired of that whole same old routine, Star Wars, looking at Star Wars, those stories, looking at that, I don't really know how my powers work, but now all of a sudden I'm the best at everything ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
Too many people with daddy issues.
but I mean, if you're gonna
And
look at
grandpa
Netflix,
issues.
you really can't
Mhm.
really compare the two.
Mm.
Because you have the time in Netflix. You have multiple episodes, so those episodes are running
To build it
significantly longer than 2 hours.
True.
Luke Cage, they have the time to develop those characters, and I mean, from the hype that seems behind the Infinity War, we'll see what they do. Obviously, we know it's supposed to be a 2-part event.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
We've seen at least something we wanted to bring up as well, that they're on set now, so they're actually filming for that. It's a little bit exciting.
The production trailer came out for that one,
Yep.
which was epic. Tom Holland is going to be a great Spider-Man.
Yep, we've seen Tom Holland, we've seen
Star-Lord.
Tony Stark, Robert Downey junior, and
Mhm.
we've seen Star-Lord, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's exciting, but we've obviously got a couple movies that are coming out before that. We have Black Panther. I don't know how they're
Well, Thor. Also.
Thor as well.
Mhm.
Bob
Spider-Man's
Marley.
Homecoming.
And I don't think Captain Marvel's coming out before that, or what
I
they're planning on doing with that. Yeah, I think it's supposed to come out right after.
Yeah, I think they're
Infinity
going to introduce her into Infinity War.
At some
and
point,
then, yeah.
Which is another actually interesting point, because we obviously know that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. are kind of getting to the point where they want to reprise those roles to other people. So we know with maybe the introduction of Captain Marvel, that whole Civil War 2 kind of comic book, if that's going to play out later on in Infinity War, see if they
That'd be
kind of
cool.
get rid of Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans, and see if they can kind of incorporate younger folks. So
Yeah, you bet. And that's one thing that having the streaming universe is that they do have a bunch of younger actors that can play these roles for quite some time before the mantle is handed over. And speaking of that, animated universe wise, DC came out with Justice League Dark very, very recently, hit the shelves,
So good.
and it was
I love it.
pretty damn fantastic. Not only just animation wise, but storyline wise, and they're introducing characters that not everybody knows. I think they're getting the hint that they need to branch out away from the usual
Trinity.
Gallery
Recycled,
of characters that everybody knows and has known for quite some time.
I like Dead Man the most.
Yeah, Dead Man was pretty
that
good.
He was fun.
And Swamp Thing was in there. Jason Blood, who is everybody's favorite demon, Etrigan, as well as Constantine makes an appearance, and Santana. So it was actually a very well done animated movie, and DC has proven time and time again that they are ruling the animated movie venue when it comes to DC versus Marvel.
DC's animations have always been on point. If we take a look back at Batman, the animated series, that was just to date one of the best shows to watch.
Yeah.
Period.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Always good.
And Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, one of my all-time favorites, and Jeremy's as well.
I love
Awesome
Batman
stuff.
Beyond so much. I don't know why I didn't do better.
Well, I named my first dog after Ace, the Bathound.
That is true.
I was so proud of that moment.
Their animated movies are far better. Even the ones that would be considered theatrical release animated movie type productions, DC just is at the top of their game. Marvel, not so much.
They haven't really done much with their animated universe.
Not since they teamed with Lionsgate, and I thought that pairing would have actually produced gold. But
Oh,
I
on
was kinda
the Doctor Strange one before?
Well, Doctor Strange and
I
the
did enjoy
whole
that one.
verses and what have you, they're teaming up with Lionsgate. I had such high hopes for, but it wasn't. It was actually pretty disappointing. The quality and not only of the animation, but the storyline and the voice talent. It just, I think they kind of missed the mark on that one, and it was surprising based on those two teaming together.
Well, I think when it comes to Marvel in general, I think all of us can probably agree. It seems like they kind of rush a lot of their work. It not to say that it necessarily is bad overall, but it seems like there's a lot more that could have been incorporated for a lot of us fans out there, and that's kind of where I feel on it, because it definitely hits the very broad topics of, okay, this is who, for example, Doctor Strange is, who these characters are, but even the cartoon version of it, it's just very like, okay, here's a character, let's get with him, you know what I mean? And we need that depth, because if someone passes away or somebody moves on, like Caecilius, for example, during the actual movie, it was a really good villain, and that actor, I feel, has so much potential, as we can see with some of the stuff. Obviously, we know he was in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's actually going to be in the new Guillermo del Toro as Hideo Kojima, I think. I don't know if they're still working on it together. Game Death Stranding.
There's a good interview with the two of them.
Yeah,
that's gonna be good.
And he's a phenomenal actor. It's just to flesh out that villain, it would have been fantastic. And then they just kind of got rid of Dormammu in the end, which I think a lot of us were like, wait a minute, what?
That's the pinnacle of that storyline.
Yeah.
Still needs to
That's
have
the
a fiery
Magneto,
head.
You know?
Yeah. Still needs a fiery head, though.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say about the animated universe of Marvel, you have to give it to Disney Studios. I mean, with Avengers Assemble, we had the Ultimate Spider-Man with Drake Bell as the voice actor for Peter Parker, which I think was amazing. They had a couple other good Spider-Man shows, and then you also had the animated, the anime-styled X-Men, Wolverine for, what was it, G4. Remember when that was on?
Oh,
you guys see
my
that?
God, yes.
That was old.
Yeah.
And then they had Fantastic Four on, like, Nicktoons. Cartoon Network was awesome.
Well, they have heavy saturation, and I mean, some of it was entertaining, but it wasn't as good a quality as DC. So I guess
They
we
both
can
kind of
say that,
flip-flop.
yeah.
I mean, obviously we have what's more successful in films, I think, right now, which is probably Marvel.
Yeah,
I'm not going to dispute that.
Marvel.
And then
Yeah.
we have what we want to see, which is the animated version of DC's, films, I guess, cartoons.
Judas Contract.
Yeah.
That's going to be epic.
As far as you mentioning Wolverine, obviously, I think kind of to move on to the next topic, we obviously know that Logan just wound up rolling out.
Yes.
Which means a lot for the end, I guess, of Wolverine at this point, as well as Patrick Stewart, from what you guys were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
Retiring from the role.
Reprising the role. So that's going to be interesting to see how 20th Century Fox takes those roles, see if they're going to continue on with X-Men, or see if they're going to wind up, restarting it, maybe going on with those characters from X-Men First Class, which
Yeah,
I
I
wanted to
did.
see before they wound up incorporating it into like Apocalypse and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Well, actually, there's something that was okay. Sorry, but there's actually something cool about the new X-Men movie coming out. Is that the one actress that plays Jean Grey? She actually confirmed, I believe, in a tweet about Dark Phoenix coming out.
Oh,
Interesting.
Yeah, they're going to do the
that
Dark
was
Phoenix.
an interesting storyline
Yeah.
for Marvel. It really
and
was.
they just
Yeah.
demolished it in X-Men 3.
As
like,
they generally always do.
Unfortunately, so. But no,
Kill
that
me.
actually, it was funny. That just what popped in my mind when you guys were talking about Stewart and the continuation of the character Deadpool in the movie. Going McAvoy or Stewart? It's harder to keep up with the timeline.
demolished that third.
Yeah. Well,
Cool,
McAvoy
cool.
would actually be able to come back if they wanted to continue or branch off the young, Xavier storyline with new X-Men or whatever.
It's
He is
just,
bold now.
there's so much stuff though. I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, everybody still wants to see Gambit.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
we have all these characters. Then obviously there's like a bajillion X-Men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a legitimate number, by the way.
It is.
But I mean, I'm kind of glad they made this rated R for all of you who actually want to go out there and see it. That it may be a little bit gory for you, but I think that they kind of got the idea that with Deadpool's successes that they can kind of do what they want, and
Yeah, get away with it.
I'm glad that Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart finally got that recognition that they can kind of go out and see it, because the ratings on this movie have been phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
even Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if it's 100%, but it was like 96.
It was
or
pretty
something.
fresh.
Yeah, it was pretty
It
good.
was pretty good.
So it's exciting. I believe everyone here has yet to see it, but there's no doubt in my mind I want to go see it 100%.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, what is our thoughts between the cinematic universes, streaming universes of Marvel, DC? I think it kind of bounces out on both winner and loser, depending on
How you look at things.
how we look at things. Marvel, great when it comes to theatrical cinematic universe, minus their flaws, of course. They have the streaming, but DC definitely owns it on the animated.
Well, I feel
And
like there's a lot of
broadcasted.
potential
broadcast, yeah.
because we know that Netflix is doing Marvel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But who's to say that like Hulu couldn't do DC or
Of course.
you
I
know,
want that to
Amazon
happen.
or anybody at this point we could do any of these shows, and I feel like that's a really big miss. I mean, it doesn't have to be Batman, it doesn't have to be Wonder
No.
Woman. They can leave those really popular
They can bring
characters
in the
out
Green
there. and feel-
Lanterns.
Yeah, I mean, Green Lantern's a little bit more of Justice League. I want
Like which Green Lantern though?
Why?
Guy Gardner.
I'd like
I
to
wanna
see Hal
see Guy.
Jordan start from the originals, But that being said, I mean, there's a lot of potential. We could do Red Hood,
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
could do
Ooh,
these
that'd be
side
fun.
characters,
Well, and again,
Teen
the-
Titans, because God only knows the animated Teen Titans was phenomenal.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
seeing
fun
that.
series.
Well,
Young
and-
Justice.
and also too
That
the
was
original
season two.
Justice Society of
3,
America.
Young
They could
Justice.
actually go back into the archives and pull those characters that not everybody knows and bring them to the forefront and really make a killing off of that, because you're gonna be branching out the audience and getting the attention of these people going, wow, these were characters I never knew,
Yeah.
and get some interest in that, and that would just expand for quite some time, really.
Couldn't agree
All
more.
right. Well, there we go. There we have it. So, fans, let us know what you think as well. DC versus Marvel cinematic overall universes. Winners, losers, half. You let us know. What is next on the docket?
Let's see. I have some things I would like to rant about, if you don't mind.
Rant away.
Yes, there's one thing I'm deeply personally interested in is a new book I encountered. Now, normally that's not really the forte we step into, but I felt there was enough nerds in the audience that might appreciate this just for the sheer amount of sci-fi reference of the main character. This book is called We Are Legion, We Are Bob, of the first book of the Bobaverse series. It's a really
all
awesome
about
story.
you, Bob.
Yeah. I bought it. I was like, who would this inspire? But the book was surprisingly good. For those of you who are big fans of Ready Player One and Armada, who are, you pretty much grew up in the 90s and you just never decided to become a grown-up adult person, this might be a book you want to check out. It's a perspective of a man who's created to be an entire doppelganger army of deep space probes without a body. And it's great because it's about him exploring the universe as the same person in several thousand different places. It's from the first-person perspective of someone who is many people. I've never encountered a book like that deals with the idea of a hive mind. and it is ridiculously funny. The first two habitable planets he names Romulus and Vulcan. Because there's no one to damn question him in space. Because
Seems like
I am
something I would
Bob.
Yeah, it sounds like something you would do.
Definitely seems like something I would do.
I can see that.
Gotta go on about the book. I can't recommend
I am
it enough.
Well, that's very awesome.
I got a book I want to reference. I actually brought it in for all of you out there.
Show it.
Yeah, yes. So this right now is my pride and joy for all of you folks out there. The Darkness. I mentioned it earlier. So I got this one. I wound up getting this off eBay, and I'm sure if anybody has ever seen it before, kind of the backstory of it. Awesome. Go for it, Lawrence. Oh, perfect page to flip to.
Ooh.
So
Hi, honey. How are you?
Dear God. Basically, the story wound up kind of originating in Witchblade, which I have been reading before this because that's just happened to be easier to get my hands on. This one I actually had to win off an eBay,
cool.
which was 200 or
wicked.
win off eBay for about $200, which was a pain, but significantly cheaper than it would have been just buying it off Amazon. A little bit underwhelmed by the Witchblade storyline. They kind of make the character a little bit ditzy, to say the least. But this one is just like almost comedy. We have basically a hitman who winds up getting powers and has to deal with those powers, and he has like little goblins that follow around and are just trolls. But it's good, phenomenal, love it.
Sounds like many of the haters on the internet.
Yeah, there you go. All these little minions that follow him around all the time, give him trouble. And for a ladies' man, one of the big issues he has is, unfortunately, he is not allowed to have sex with women because if he does wind up procreating, he instantly dies, and all of the powers go to his offspring. So,
Well, how effed up is that?
Yeah.
Tough call.
Yeah.
Gotta make it worth it.
Yeah, no doubt. Wait, hold on. But that's only if he procreates. There is such thing as called prophylactic.
And they went over that. They're basically, are you willing to risk that?
They might be little spiked ship swimmers.
Yeah. Well, if you get the triple ply extra steel belted Trojans, you're safe. You're good.
But then you need an air tool.
Triple wrapping.
Oh yeah.
Or you could ask Dick Grayson. He did make a condom that was actually safe for him to use on Starfire because of her radiation. Using Dick Grayson technology.
Anything is possible.
That is an odd thing to go over. But that aside, good to know in case I ever wind up harnessing powers that make it so I die if I wind up procreating.
I believe in you.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna make it with some hot chick from outer space that radiates,
she's
it's that's information you could use, Bob.
She's definitely good looking. But
Yes,
for all of those, obviously you're not going to want to spend $200 on this. You can wind up buying all issues, I believe, $1 each online, which
it is. That's
I would
awesome.
recommend. It's a good story, and you don't really have to spend like maybe $1 just trying to get into it. So if it's something you're not really interested in, buy a couple issues and then continue on. But I love it. I love the art.
Oh, the art is incredible.
It's definitely a throwback because these ones came out, I believe, in the 1990s. So
yeah, actually, it's been around for that long for sure. Yeah.
But
well, very good.
Something a little dear to me. I'm glad I actually got to bring it in for you guys. So.
And I'm going to share something as well because again, it's not about just the major two. There's again hundreds of publishers out there, thousands of storylines, thousands upon thousands of characters. So you got a lot to keep yourself busy and investigate and dive into. This one from IDW, Steve Niles, the author of 30 Days of Night, which was kick-ass. It really was awesome. This one's called the October Faction. Artwork is pretty decent.
Is it a vampire thing?
No, actually, it is a family of monster hunters, but they have a couple monsters on their team in the family. It's kind of quirky, interesting, sarcastic dialogue.
Well, you'd have to be a family of hunters, right?
Yeah. But yeah, the artwork's pretty decent. Dialogue's funny, and the character development's pretty decent. I am getting, I believe there's 17 issues. I'm up to number 7, and I definitely recommend this. Again, from IDW, the October Faction. If you like quirky, just kind of out in left field, different type of storylines other than superheroes and what have you, definitely recommend this.
Got anything you're looking into?
Nope. You skip me.
Really?
I've been just...
All right, I want you to just think about what you did.
I did think, and I came up with an idea.
Okay.
Not
good.
only that, but I'm going to actually recommend a game that just came out that
Ooh.
I want to talk about, which is pretty cool. I don't have much on it yet because it just came out and I need to play it. But was it like Neo from
Yeah.
PlayStation 4? It's basically you're a warrior going through a war-torn Japan, and you're just destroying and slaying and striking down different demons and purging the land.
The
Kind
white,
of sounds like
white man.
Samurai Jack,
Well, it's
which is coming out with
March 11th.
new episode Samurai Jack. That's right.
That's going to be fun.
That's gonna be
We
11
should save that
March.
for the news.
Oh.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Maybe you should go think over there. While
Okay,
you're
I
done.
will, you big bully.
like,
Yeah.
like father, like son, right?
I'll take a spotlight.
Come here, you.
Um,
All right.
Swag.
One thing that I kind of want to mention that's obviously going to be for the end of time for me is the new Alien Covenant. They wound up releasing kind of like a little teaser for they call it the Last Supper. Basically, it's the cast. We have James Franco in it, which is exciting to see how he winds
Nice.
up dealing with aliens. They basically are getting together. They're going to this planet, and the idea is that they're going to wind up colonizing it. I think is the idea. But they just sit there and they get basically drunk, and they're talking about, you know, they're glad that they're with each other and they're going to wind up colonizing this planet. So it's going to be interesting to see where that takes off. I doubt it's an actual scene in the movie. I think it's just kind of like
Just like those TED Talks. For
Yeah, exactly.
Which were cool, mind you.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
but it's,
no prophylactics there because they have to procreate.
but it's interesting and it's really exciting. Obviously, we know from the trailers that we've actually seen a xenomorph, whether or not it is definitively like one of the original xenomorphs, what we wound up running into on that ship. They've also shown that ship as well, and a facehugger that looks pretty genuinely to be a facehugger. So I think we're looking at the original xenomorphs, but there seems to be a little bit more going on than meets the eye.
Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers
Oh
reference
my
there.
God.
But we
God
know that
help
the black goo from Prometheus is
Autobots.
going to make another
Roll out.
appearance. So will it just be the xenomorphs? Will there be a sequel to this movie? Or, you know, because Ridley Scott's notorious for leaving you with that, what did I just kind of watch thing? Do I need to watch it again? But that's exciting, and it's definitely something worth going to see. It's not a very engaging event, but for all of you fans out there, just so you can kind of get a little bit more of a backstory behind some of these characters that are going to be on the film. That movie's coming out incredibly soon, I believe May. I think. So
Yeah, I
it's going to be
believe so.
really, really quick.
Well, and he's kind of Stanley Kubrick about that too. You know, before just cranking out for the sake of cranking out, sequels for the franchise, develop the story and make your audience really want to see it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you wound up looking at the original Alien, the trailers for it were like, you know,
Oh yeah.
pretty just bare bone, like nothing. I'm kind of surprised that with the trailer that they came out with originally, just the amount of meat that they had with the new Alien Covenant. So, you know, we'll see if there's how much to the movie there's actually going to be, or like I said, if there's going to be continuation, or if there's going to be, you know, these characters are all going to bite the big one.
We will see.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on the hot plate?
Aside from that, nothing much. Me personally, I just purchased also a huge omnibus of the new 52.
That's right. He did.
I finished off the 52, so now I'm reading the new 52 because I'm really excited about the concept of, as a new reader to the DC universe, being able to see how the old one ends and the new one begins, and I have a brand new storyline to follow with. And the omnibus, the one I picked out, the Omnibus Zero, it includes stories about the first 3 issues of pretty much most of the major characters. You get to see where everyone starts off. And it is a brick. It is gargantuan.
Yeah.
Bigger than the darkness?
Maybe.
Can you
yeah,
work-
I think
really?
so. I think so. Yeah, yeah. When you brought that in, that thing was a behemoth.
Yeah, I'll bring it in for next show.
Yeah.
You're lifting weights with it?
Yeah,
That's what I
getting
find
swole,
myself doing.
homie. Shh.
I got
Look
the
at those
darkness in one
guns,
hand.
man. Look at
Yeah.
Look at those.
Yeah,
Oh,
there you go.
no
Swole
way.
God only knows that I got the darkness in one hand and I got Witchblade in the other. I'm just sitting there just
We don't want to know what's
pumping.
in your hand.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
really,
Don't you
no,
though? Don't
no,
you? Come
no,
on,
no,
now,
no.
darkness.
I wish I didn't know.
Oh, stop it. Well, gang, that does it for us on this episode. As usual, like us, subscribe to us, leave some comments. Again, we discussed about the Titans between the cinematic universes, DC Marvel. Let us know your thoughts on that and what you would like to see. Dive into the archives and see which characters you feel Marvel and DC should develop next for either their theatrical releases, streaming releases, network releases, or animated. We want to hear from you. So do us a favor, like us, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, I'm Lawrence.
I'm Bob.
Jeremy.
Adam.
I didn't forget my name.
Yeah, you did. Good.
Improvement.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
And for Comics, Cons, and Beyond, we'll see ya.